plant pots over. Okay, so this is a game called A Good Snowman is Hard to Build, and it essentially takes the sort of, I guess it's like the Towers of Hanoi thing, you know, where you have like a big thing at the base and then like smaller sort of steps going up, and you have to move the pieces along past each other or on top of each other so that you end up with, you know, something somewhere else, but with the same sort of big to small piling up. And in this case, it takes the form of the snowman. So, and what you do is you have... Oh, Kevin! You can see where I've been like rolling the balls around from their initial starting point. Like this was the biggest one because I like rolled it all over the place, and then this one ended up being the second biggest, and then this one was the head that I just plopped on top of Kevin. So let me just find a fresh piece of snow. Ooh, don't sit down. We're trying to demonstrate something. Okay, let's try this one, or like let's have a look at this one. So you've actually got the big ball already formed, and then you've got two of the little ones. Now the big one, like, it can't get any bigger, like none of the snowballs can get any smaller, but you need a big one, a medium one, and a little one. And so with this one you've already got the big one, so you know that at least one of these needs to stay exactly the same size, and then one of the other one needs to be just rolled in one patch of snow. It's one patch of snow to get to the medium size, and two or more to make it the big one. And so let's have a look. Why does that one snowman have a twig coming out of his hat? Asks Mitten. Right, I'll show you. I'll show you the one that that means, I think. Let's see, can I find him again? Oh, this guy, right. So, like, in the levels, there are, like, you know, just a few sort of little decorative touches. There's benches you can sit on, or, like, pot plants that you can sort of give a bit of a shove, rough them up a bit. And here, there was, like, a little squat sort of pot plant and a tall thin one and a dead one, and I was trying to hide the dead one using the snowman. I could have totally built it where I'm standing, but I thought I'd try and hide the dead plant. But now, because of the way the snowmen are and they have like the branches for arms, it looks like he's got like arms growing out of his head. So I think I inadvertently created like a graduate trainee monster, but yeah, like you can see that it's like, it's actually, yeah, a little pot plant sitting behind him. So let's have a look. Scoot, if you make more puns like that, I'm going to need to kick you out of the chat room. Okay, so what are we going to do about this? I don't want to roll it right, the big one, because otherwise you end up unable to move it anywhere. It gets stuck because you can only push. So I'm left with these two, or pushing it to the left. One of these I need to roll once, and this one here I can't roll left because same problem, like it would end up being a medium sized one stuck in the corner. You couldn't move it. It's a bit of a clearly wrong thing to do. Let's see, what can we do? They're all up against this hedge up at the back, and because you can only push, I can't bring any of them down, so it's entirely like moving them horizontally. So let's have a think. See, that will work in terms of putting this one on top of that, but then like, whoops, you can't, I'll just show you. You can't then move those things on top of this. You just have to I'm gonna reset that. So if I push that there and then that there, because like the little one can sit on top of the big one, it's just that, yeah, you can't sort of invert the sizing. And then if I, oh bollocks, if I move that to the right so that it's ready for plopping on top of the main snowman, push. There we go. Oh, Lydia! Lydia looks like she's going to a party. That's so cute. She has like the same mittens and scarf as Andy. Let me show you Andy. Oh, whoops. Sorry, Mary. Didn't mean to jostle you. I thought I was somewhere else on the map. Right, let's have a look. Whoops. Let's not walk into her. Yeah, let me show you all the other snowmen. So, we've got Ruth. Give Ruth a hug. Did I forget to hug Lydia? This will not do. Yeah. So, got Lydia. There was Ruth just over in the bottom right. There's Chris. Chris, who is a happy sailor man. There's Rebecca, who looks exactly the same as Ruth. Maybe they've got different... Have they got different, like, twig arms? Nope, same twig arms. And then up here we've got Kevin. Aww, Kevin. Then there's the telescope, which you can use to get a bigger view of the garden. And then we've got Sad Sally. Sad Sally. Horace, the graduate trainee monster. We've got Louise. I'm going to sit next to Louise for a moment. Louise is a fancy lady with a fancy lady hat. William the Wizard. I like William the Wizard. And his, like, I don't know, like, what magic he's doing. Like, whether he's magicking birds into the bird bath. Like, William, what are you doing? What are you doing? Delighting young and old, I assume. Then there's Daniel, who I should have built where I was standing, but I wanted to try and, like, block off an area if I could and see what happened. But I could actually just access it from somewhere else, so it wasn't really the high security, like, lockdown that I'd imagined. To be honest, you could just come along with a hairdryer and melt him. I'm not going to melt you, Daniel, I'm very sorry. But he's awesome, look at him wearing his little flying goggles. And then, I think that's Tanya, maybe? Yeah! Tanya, with a little, like, propeller hat. So cute. And then Sarah. Oh, it's Sarah who's got the same, like, hat and, scarf and gloves combo as Lydia. So, at least they're wearing, like, a bow and a cap. Like, otherwise that could have been very awkward if they'd ended up at the same party. And then there's Andy, also with the same hat and... not hat, scarf and gloves, but a different hat again. And he's been doing Movember. For God's sake, Andy, it's December. You should be doing December like Chris. And then little Lucy, with her little corn stalk. There we go. And then we've been locked in the park. What do we do? Oh well, I'm a monster. I'm gonna have a great time. Yeah. And that, I think, is everything I know about a good snowman is hard to build. So there we go. Yeah, it's not out in time for Boxing Day, Jamie. It is going to be out for the end of winter. So that's something you can take up with Alan Hazelden on Twitter, because quite frankly, I agree. But yeah, it's a lovely little game. I really like it. And also, like, there were a few levels where, like, if you don't get it, and you come back a bit later and you finally manage to make the snowman, you feel like the smartest person. So yeah, it's just a nice little puzzle game, and I really like the art style. So yeah, and there's a few fun snowmen outfits later on that you find. Yeah, so I thought I would share it with you and feel festive.